The suspension of Markus Campbell-Savours is a moment of real political significance. Markus Campbell-Savours, the MP for Penrith and Solway, has chosen principle over party. In doing so, he's exposed a profound tension at the heart of Labour's economic strategy and its relationship with the countryside, and it's about time. The issue is inheritance tax on agricultural property, the tractor tax. Rachel Reeves proposes to remove the long-standing relief on farms valued above £1 million and instead impose a 20% charge. For Whitehall, this looks like a targeted way to prevent the wealthy from sheltering assets. For real farmers, it looks like a direct threat to the continuity of family life and family business. Farming is not a liquid asset. Cash to pay a tax bill can only be found by selling land, often the defining heritage of a family over generations. Campbell-Savours promised his constituents that Labour would not make this change. Those assurances were based on clear statements from the front bench before the election. His stance is therefore rooted in the moral core of constituency representation. Promises matter. If a representative persuades farmers to trust his word, he cannot later say that expediency requires betrayal. His words in the debate were simple and honourable. I gave my word, I intend to keep it. He didn't offer theatrics. He is not an habitual rebel, yet he was the lone Labour voice to vote against the Finance Bill measure. What mattered was not just this one dissenting vote, but the silence behind him. More than 30 Labour MPs abstained. Rural Labour MPs like Samantha Niblett and Henry Tufnell have appealed publicly for ministers to reconsider. They point out that anyone who has visited a dairy farm in winter can see most farmers are not rich. They are hard-working, asset-poor, labouring on thin margins. A farm worth £1 million is often a modest family operation. Land values disguise economic fragility. Suspending Campbell-Savours sends an unhelpful message. It suggests loyalty to the party machine is prized more highly than loyalty to a community. Keir Starmer has sought to make Labour the natural home of rural Britain. This is a test of that ambition. Rural voters take note that when an MP who stands up for them is punished, that is the way of Labour. The agricultural community is already warned of the human impact of this absurd tax and the madness of the Chancellor. Anxiety about inheritance tax is not hypothetical. One South Yorkshire family grieving the recent suicide of a 78-year-old farmer has said fear of the coming changes played its part. Chaplains, charities and networks across the countryside are reporting the same worries. It's not melodrama. The pressures on older farmers are already unbearable. There's also a matter of national interest. Undermined continuity of land stewardship in Britain risks weakening domestic food security. If small farms fail, the land ends up with large corporations and overseas investors, or it's built on. Once lost, the culture of family farming doesn't return easily. The government insists it's listening. It's adjusted some rules for spouses. It has promised engagement, mental health support and a stronger agricultural future, but those reassurances ring thin if genuine dissent within the governing party is met with instant punishment. Healthy politics requires space to raise uncomfortable truths. And raising food. Our country survived during the Second World War on the enormous work of the Land Army and of family farms, and we are throwing that away. 70, 80 years on, we're throwing it away. For what? Trinkets. Pennies in the pocket. Campbell-Savours has shown integrity. His decision was costly. It may yet be vindicated if Labour looks again at the impact of this tax before April. The very scale of abstention tells its own story. Restoring trust requires listening to those who live the consequences. There is still time for a correction. The farming sector, vital to both food and national identity, deserves a taxation system that recognises the difference between wealth on a balance sheet and livelihood on a hillside. Campbell-Savours spoke for that reality. The party leadership would be wise to hear it.